Great to have you along for the ride. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Glad to have this man back, friend of mine, former special agent with ICE. Now, it was HSI, right? So Homeland Security ICE. That's what that stands for, Victor. It's Victor Avila. Good to see you, Victor.
Good to see you, Joe. Yeah, Homeland Security Investigations, technically under ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
Let's talk about the choice of Tom Homan. You know Tom very well. I know Tom very well. We just had him on the other day, and I love this. But he said something on my show that I didn't realize, and I want you to comment if you don't mind about how good. I think this is a really good thing. He doesn't answer to anybody but the president. So he's not like under DHS. He's not ICE, overseeing ICE. He's the freaking Border Czar. So that access to the president means he can really do the job, right?
And that's absolutely true. And I think that's what Tom wanted, because it gives them that free range, if we will, not to be worried about the other agencies. For example, under DHS, you got a bunch of agencies over there that have nothing to do with the border. And his cause, his way, his mission is to solve this problem. And so he has direct access to the president. Doesn't mean that he won't be working closely. As a matter of fact, he will be working very closely with Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security, with the director of ICE, CBP commissioner, the chief of the Border Patrol, and all these people involved. They will be talking basically on a daily basis to get this information out there.
How important is it? And by the way, go to his website, victoravilaspeaks.com. Go follow him over on X as well. How important is it for the sheriffs along the border, Democrat or Republican, who haven't heard from this administration at all? How important will it be for them to have that open line of communication finally again?
Well, it's going to be a game changer. I spend a lot of time at the border and a lot of time with our sheriffs, and first of all, they're smiling like I am, because they're going to see some incredible changes come their way. But we are going to need their support, whether Democrat or not, and Republican, whatever. At this point, it's about public safety. It's what the people have asked for. It's about national security. It's the bigger picture. They got to look beyond their political affiliations and really respond to what the people have asked for and the citizens. And so they're going to be a major, major factor, the sheriffs, because I think they'll be part of these task forces that I think are going to be formed, where it includes the sheriffs, it includes the local police departments, along with maybe our state police, DPS troopers and others around the country, not just the state of Texas. But we're going to need all their help. It's going to be a cumbersome task here, but it's a great point, because sheriffs are going to be front and center on all of it.
Well, when you hear it, it's Victor Avila. Go to victoravilaspeaks.com. When you hear governors and mayors, big city mayors like Boston, governors like J.B. Pritzker, governors like Katie Hobbs, who's right there at the worst part of the border right now in Arizona, when they say we're not going to cooperate, does that matter?
It's not really going to matter, but I'll tell you what, it should matter to the citizens of that state and demand of their elected officials to say, what the heck are you doing? I mean, we're not doing anything wrong here. We're not doing anything illegal. As a matter of fact, we're helping the communities and cleaning them up of the crime. That's what they want. That's what we all want. And so for them to oppose that, especially when it comes to the criminal illegal aliens, the potential terrorists, the rapists, the murderers, the Tren de Aragua Venezuelan gang, I mean, my goodness, how can we not get on the same page for that? So for them to start, and they're already talking about doing even more than just blocking Tom Homan and others from doing this. But we'll go around them, like Tom said. We'll get it done. Yeah. But it'd be nice to have their cooperation, because what they're going to do, Joe, is they're going to tell their chiefs of police and their sheriffs, don't you dare work with them. And that's where the big conflict lies here. And we need the help of the actual citizens and the constituents of those states to demand of their elected officials and say, no, we want you to cooperate with ICE and other federal agencies to get this done.
It is Victor Avila, former supervisory special agent with ICE. He's retired now. I hope that you'll be part of the incoming administration. I know that you don't have anything to report on that, but I've been talking to you a long time. We've been friends a long time. You're serious about the border. You're also serious about the inhumanity that's happening to people that are brought to the border by the cartel, so I hope that you're involved in this. When you mentioned Tren de Aragua, when you mentioned this group out of Venezuela, we just found out yesterday it was confirmed that the guy Ibarra, who's standing trial for killing Lake and Riley in Georgia, is a verified, confirmed member of that group. How deep do you think they're into this country now, this group?
Deeper and deeper every day. And there was another report that I think they said 22 states where they have visibility and presence. listen, they're not a gang, and I shouldn't have called them a gang. These guys are a cartel. They're highly organized. There's reports out there that they have connections to possible terrorist organizations. They're funded. That's why they have weapons. These guys are not here to look for a construction job in the United States. These guys are not here to better the lives of themselves and their families. These guys came specifically with an agenda to destroy our country, literally kill us and rape us and commit crimes. And they're probably the primary group that we're going to go after when this kicks off on January 20th. They got to go. They got to be detected, detained, and not only deported, by the way. And I don't know if you listened to Tom before. A lot of these people are going to be arrested and put in jail first for the crimes that they've committed.
And then deported.
Then they get deported.
Well, let me ask you this. Do we share information with Venezuela? And the reason I ask is this: when you get to the border, let's say I get to the border, and I've passed as Cuban before in South Florida, and I say my name is Jose, Garcia, and I'm from, and I just make up some city, but I'm really part of Trinidad. How would we know at the border? Would we know?
We should know, but the reason why is that the Biden administration didn't give our border agents the adequate tools and time to assess that and do the real process.
Well, if you don't mind, let me ask you, and this is kind of specific. Like when Trump did the so-called Muslim ban, he didn't. 92% of all Muslims could still come in here, but he banned people from places like Yemen because we did not share information, so we didn't know who was coming. Do we share information as far as you know with Venezuela or not?
No, absolutely not. We have absolutely no.
So we don't know who's coming.
There. Nothing. So we really don't know. We have to basically break them there and with interrogation and other type of techniques that obviously they weren't given the time to do so. We're finding out when they commit crimes or way after they commit these serious crimes in the U.S. But here's the point. Marco Rubio, and I know he's going to be on top of this. There's going to be a diplomatic approach here and foreign policy approach, because he is going to approach Venezuela, and this is all connected, by the way. And maybe there'll be a ban, maybe there'll be other sanctions to Venezuela that we just literally cut them off from coming into our border because there's too many. I know it might hurt other Venezuelans that are trying to seek asylum, but we need to protect our citizens at this point.
It's Victor Avila. Go to victoravilaspeaks.com. Get his book. What is it? Agent Under Fire?
That's right.
Go get his book, Agent Under Fire. Victor, the story out of that courtroom in Georgia, I don't know how much of that you've watched, but it's harrowing. You had a female that was testifying in Spanish through a translator who said that she was with this guy, Ibarra. They came across the border here, probably in Texas, if not Arizona, ended up in Manhattan at the Roosevelt Hotel. I mean, like a really ritzy hotel in Manhattan. Then asked for a humanitarian flight for free after getting all their room and board and all their food and everything free, get a cell phone free, get a card free with money on it. They said, hey, for humanitarian purposes, can you fly us to Georgia? And they did, on your dime and mine. And then allegedly, according to the case, he was looking for a woman to rape that day. And Laken Riley fought him for 18 minutes before he allegedly crushed her skull. Joe, did you know it was that deep that they were coming across the border, going anywhere they want with all the free stuff they needed, staying at ritzy hotels, and then flying anywhere across the country they wanted? Really? Did we know that?
No, especially once they were already over here. What do you mean they got a flight to change their destination?
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of it live, and I was outraged. My daughter was with me. We were watching it, and my daughter started crying, and I told her, you don't have to watch this. But it was just a reminder of what I've done in my career, Joe. I've seen some horrific events in my life, and children and the crimes and the victims of the crimes. And it just stirred me up again as to how in the world does this happen? First of all, that we financed this, that we actually moved these people in when we actually had contact with them and still allowed them to come into the country. Right. That's going to end. That's going to be the easy part. We're going to detect them at the border. They're not going to come in anymore. The problem is we have to get the ones that already slipped through and are in the country. And by the way, the left saying, complaining about the money that's going to be spent on these deportations. Yeah. Let me tell you, look at the multi-millions of dollars that have already been spending on letting the people in the first place. Yeah. The processing centers, the flights, the buses, the hotels, the meals, the debit cards. That's not an excuse. It's not, and I know President Trump doesn't care about that. He already said there's not going to be a value or a price on this. That's why that you heard about this possible national declaration, emergency declaration, which is going to take care of the expenses.
It is Victor Avila, again, former special agent. Go to victoravilaspeaks.com. Agent Under Fire is the book. When he says that he's gonna say there's a national emergency, the left has already said it would be unconstitutional to use the United States military to round up people who broke the law to come here. Have you looked into that at all? Is this lawful? Is it constitutional to do it?
Absolutely, it's lawful, and it's actually nothing new. The military has been used, and I worked a lot with them as an agent, especially in National Guard. They were assigned to our groups. They were intel analysts. They actually helped a lot with administrative purposes that we're going to need them to help us. Again, a lot of times when people say, well, military, it grants you military action, it doesn't mean that the military is going to be fully armed out there looking for people. Can we use them as that if we wanted to? Absolutely. It just kind of reminds me of what El Salvador has been doing the last couple of years in cleaning up their neighborhoods of MS-13. That's what we want to do. If we wanted to do that, we could. I don't think we need to use that initially, but we are going to need the military to supplement all the other border agents that are going to be used in task forces and other parts of this operation. So they are going to come in handy, and we do need their services to help us.
What is President Trump and Tom Homan and Kristi Noem and hopefully you, if you're part, what do you need Mexico to do? The new Mexican president was a hardliner. She was, completely against helping close the border, and she seemed to be somebody who's wishy-washy on it. When Trump won, suddenly she's like, oh, I didn't notice it was so bad. How can we help? What do you need Mexico to do to make sure that we can do what we have to do here?
It's plain and simple. They need to play ball with us. They need to cooperate. They need to start letting us share our intelligence with them. In the last couple of years, a lot of people don't know this. Mexico really cut off the United States in the last 2 to 4 years, but really, really bad in the last 2 years. And I'm talking about DEA, especially, another agency that they cut them off completely, wouldn't allow us to share the agency. As a matter of fact, they threatened to kick DEA agents out of the U.S. Embassy in Mexico. This is the internal fight within the country, and we can't have that anymore. We need Mexico to jump on board. As a matter of fact, I think it's going to be a matter of not even asking them at this point, Joe. I think they're going to have to be really incentivized, and you know what I mean when I say that.
Yes.
Incentivized to get on board, because we do need them, regardless of how you feel about what's going on in Mexico. We need their cooperation to take care and take out the cartels, to stop the movement of all these people that are illegally present in Mexico as well. We need to incentivize them to start deporting people from their country before they even make anywhere close to our border. So Mexico is going to be a vital role here.
Victor Avila, make sure you go check out his book, Agent Under Fire. Go to VictorAvilaSpeaks.com. Tony Gonzalez, U.S. representative with the largest border district, actually got ICE to give him numbers that proved there were 425,000 people who had been convicted of heinous crimes where they came from. 13,000 plus murderers, 14 or 15,000 rapists, 425,000 criminals that we know of. ICE knows that there are that many here. Can I assume that they know who they are? And can we go and get them immediately when Trump takes over?
So 2 things about it. I'm glad you brought Tony Gonzalez up. One, all the numbers that you just cited, these are enough for us to take care of and keep us busy for initially when we start this mass deportation. Well, deportation, I don't want to say mass. It's just enforcement operation.
Yes.
But there's over 700,000 illegal aliens walking around with deportation orders already ordered by an immigration judge.
Wait. I'm sorry. Almost 750,000 people were given their papers to be deported, and we haven't? Why not?
They never left. They never left the country because no one escorted them out. They just said, "Okay,
don't we put that ass on a plane and get them out? Don't we just give them the papers and say, please deport yourself?"
Well, that's what we're supposed to do, right? That's another thing of lack of enforcement of the Biden administration. So just there alone, 700, they say close to 1 million actually.
Wow.
Of that one group. Then you add the criminal illegal aliens. And so all these other groups, especially the ones that have come in under under this administration with the CBP-1 app, under the parole program, all of that is illegal, Joe. They're going to find themselves with absolutely no status. All that's going to be null and void. And all of these people have to get picked up and returned to their home country of origin. Second point on Tony Gonzalez. He just went on national television and already said that he's going to oppose a lot of what Trump is. Yes, you heard that right. He's going to oppose.
I'm sorry, what?
He's going to oppose what Trump and Tom Homan want to do about these deportations. He wants to protect the people that are seeking asylum and another group. And I'm here to tell you, I told you so. I ran for Congress in this spot to tell you exactly who Tony Gonzalez is. And now he's already showing the same signs that I was opposed to, because this guy is not here to protect the American citizens. It kind of gets me going with him, because now we have a so-called Republican that's going to oppose a lot of the stuff that we want to get done, especially in District 23, where we have big issues.
I got to get him back on the show. I've got to figure. I did not see that on national television. I, of course, supported you in your run, and I think that would have been great to have you representing us. Getting those numbers from ICE plus the 700,000 that you cite they've already been ruled that they should be deported. That's 1.25, 1.3 million people, something like that. So those are the initial ones. Trump and Homan and Noam and whomever, they go after those first, and then you figure out the rest. Can we disincentivize or take away the magnets from the other 10 to 15 million to make them deport themselves, self-deport, and then they can apply to come here legally? Can we do that?
That's the key. The magnets, the incentives, that's the key. You end those, and you're going to stop the reduction or even new people coming in. But what I've been saying is they're not going to listen to me. They're not going to listen to Trump. They're not going to listen to Tom Homan. The illegals are going to listen to are the other illegals that make that final call and say, do not come. Do not come because I'm actually calling you from a detention facility or a federal prison.
Right.
And do not throw your money away by giving it to the cartels. Do not get raped. Do not almost drown in the river or get cooked in the sun in the desert. Do not put yourself through this situation. And when they themselves start communicating that to their friends and family all over the world, that's when the real shift is going to happen. We need to change the narrative. We need to change the burden needs to be placed. By the way, the burden needs to be placed a lot of responsibility on the illegal alien themselves, Joe. Sometimes we don't talk about this. We kind of give them a pass or, they're the ones caught in the middle. No, they made a conscious decision to put themselves through the situation, and they know what they did, and they find themselves here. Really quickly on separation of families, it's not going to be on the federal government. I'm saying this a lot. It's going to be on the parent, on the illegal alien parent. They're the ones that are going to decide. They're the ones that are going to say, I get to separate myself from the family, or I take them with me.
It is Victor Avila. One last question, Victor. Can we reinstitute the stay in Mexico policy right away? Do we need Mexico to say, yes, you can do that? Can we just say, if you want to apply for asylum, you stay over there and we'll let you do it? If you don't stay over there, we're not going to give you a pathway to asylum.
Remain in Mexico, I have a feeling it's going to kick in within the first 24 hours, and Mexico is not going to have a choice to do it. They're going to do that. But the one even more important than that is going to be end, catch, and release. Yes. That's what's been allowing all these people to come in. The catch and release is going to be gone on January 20th at 12:01 p.m., and those people are not going to be allowed in.
I think I've got 15 seconds. Can we get rid of the CBP One app already? I mean, that's just a garbage app. It's got to go away, no?
By the way, it's still active. We got several thousand people still been flowing in right now. We've got about several thousand hitting our Texas borders and Arizona border. It's very active right now. They're going to be gone in January, but I hope that the administration, the Biden-Harris administration, does something about it now.
VictorAvilaSpeaks.com. Get his book, Agent Under Fire. It's our friend Victor Avila. Victor, thanks a million. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Hi, buddy. We're back after this. Stay right here.